So how do you, I see you talk about, and this is because I'm on calls with her admin too, y'all. I see you craft your calendar in a way that honors that. So can you talk a little bit about what that has been like for you? Because I know that, when you first started building your business, you were like, yes, let's get to it. Let's get to the bag. It's money to be made. But how have you kind of started to bring in these other elements that are equal parts of kind of creating that full life?
That's good stuff. You know what I found? When I sit still, sometimes the money just makes its way in, y'all. I don't have to do all of that. So where I kept my calendar stacked from like drop the kids off, get a workout in 9 until 4 o'clock, I don't have to live like that anymore. And I say that meaning like back to back to back to back, never work, stopping all. If you can see my desk right now, today was I work at home, work day. Got water containers. I normally have my plate from whatever I had this morning at the desk or whatever, but it's about baking in that time. And it's about creating time for people to connect with you. It's about having a lunch date at the house. It's about opening up a window for you to have just chit chat time with your girlfriends. Not necessarily always during your day. You can't do that. But I have been very intentional about managing my calendar and putting blocks in that make sense for me. Monday, I'm gonna give you this. Monday is my day to work on my business. I don't have meetings until noon. So Monday morning, I get the kids out, I come home, I can do whatever I want to do. Most of the time, I'm taking my time, I'm preparing my meal for the day. I might even cook for the week. Whatever it is that's going to make me feel more successful or more supportive of even my kids in the evenings, so I don't feel guilty about not slinging in the kitchen during the week, because I don't really sling in the kitchen during the week. I cook, it's in containers. We all working from there. And so doing that has been very intentional. My weekends, when I listen, Alena, this was totally selfishly motivated. When I realized I was single, I was out here, I was like, I got to figure out how to move around. I'm like, cut my Fridays off at noon and only put meetings with people I really want to be with on Fridays, because that's a different energy.
Listen.
I mean, cut it
Energy
off.
management, y'all, like it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes,
Okay, because it really makes you think about, and I'm leaning in like they can't
right.
really. It's just like I had a call today with a guy, and I was like, he said I'm gonna work on my systems today at 3. And my job was like 1 o'clock. I said 3 o'clock today. You gonna work on systems? I said clearly you ain't never built a workflow, because 3 p.m. on a Thursday, that ain't. I don't know your energy, but I can tell you right now that ain't gonna go down. But go ahead.
That was a real good thought. Like if you don't hit that early, I had 2 tasks on my agenda for today, and and some supporting tasks too. But we got one really big one done, and I still have those other 2 that I walked out of my bedroom into my office with as intentions. They're gonna get done today, but it was like I'm not. I'm focused on those. Those make money. Those tasks will generate revenue. And so let me just say this. I'm gonna say it like this. Um, when you have done the work and you are managing your behaviors, you're going and dialing back all of this noise in your head, you will realize that you don't have to be in motion all the time in order to be productive. You do not. Some of what motion is it's continuity of energy, right? It's energy, it's centrifugal force is now working on your behalf. The work you've been doing will beget the next level of work, and it'll come and start rolling in your direction. So you could sit at your. I found in my most quiet times, my phone will ring, and it'll be someone that's like, "Hey, I have an opportunity for you." You're like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "I thought today I was gonna do nothing, wasn't gonna produce anything," and the money comes. It's flowing inward.
It's that frequency. Because people got to think about, when we think about energy management, it's also about, like, if you're building, you have no time to emit a frequency that is of I have space, right? So
None,
you can't
girl.
bring in energy, or you can't bring in opportunities if your
Woo.
calendar is stacked, right? And I always tell people, like, your energy is your currency. So you're like, if that means that, you know, like, it has to be high for me to have a certain level of focus, for me to be more efficient, for me to get stuff done, for me to make money. But then it
Yes.
also has to be at a certain level for me to be able to connect. Like, imagine the people that meet you when you're like at 10% versus the people that meet you when you at 95, you want to close
Literally,
this deal more, right?
it was the
So
difference between a closed deal. I'm glad you said. I'm sorry. I
no,
couldn't
go
hold it.
ahead.
I couldn't hold it.
Go ahead.
No, that's it. Keep going. That's
Yeah.
it. It's the
And
difference
it's
between a
to
closed
me, it's like we're conditioned to, kind of hustle and really just pack ourselves to the limit, but we don't understand to some degree the stillness is where the money is made, truly. And I know, like me, you are a queen of ideation, y'all. Me and Kyra, sometimes I just thank God that we have Ebony on our team who is super, process driven in the sense of like operations because, and not to take away from you, because I know you hate when people don't give you your little process props because you process
when
too.
I have to, but if you give me space to dream, I'm taking dream all day.
Exactly. Like we will get into our mode of just like ideation and like you will see us light up. And I think that being able to have someone who can kind of help you capture that to me speaks to the power in collaboration. And
Yes.
I know that collaboration for us has been like the word of the year, even in the way that we move. So I want to, I just kind of talked about two things that I want you to talk about. So
Okay.
first of all, I want you to talk about your process for like ideation, because I know if we were to turn your camera around right now, you got whiteboards everywhere. I got notebooks everywhere. So how do you like think through like your creative process? Like what does that look like?
Okay, so listen. This is an exclusive, never told before. Okay, let's see how much of this I really want to give. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go high level because this is to be monetized. I'm gonna just be honest.
Listen, friend.
So right, welcome to this part of the journey. So I do a couple of things, and I'm gonna speak from the. You're gonna see me look away because I'm thinking, right? You're gonna see me. I'm gonna speak from the business side first. So ideating in business for me is a very strategic process, and you may say, how can ideation be strategic? Well, I'm both strategic and creative, and so that it all works in that way. So when I start a year with a very intentional plan, a plan of which I probably started the July prior. And I work my way into building that into something that is tangible, that makes sense. And it's building on what I know to be true about the business opportunities that are before me, the relationships I have, and then the things I simply dream and hope for. And so when I start to put those on paper and just start building them out based on what I know, I go as far as I know. I go far, long, and wide. I don't stop. I don't make myself truncated. I don't try to make it make sense with reality. I don't try to make it make sense with my budget. I just put it out there and I pull it all together and I start to sequence these things saying, okay, if this could happen, when would be the best time for this to happen? I literally start with um, a quadrant that looks like this, right? Quadrant. Line vertical, line horizontal, they meet in the middle, creates a cross. In each cross, there's squares, right? So I literally say, what quarter would I love for this to happen? And
Mm.
when I do that, that helps me see my vision, see what I'm dreaming about. Some things get nixed and moved to the next year. Some things become low hanging fruit. If I can, it's nice to do it. But that's how I start in business. And so I really start looking at it. And then I assign a dollar amount to it. Because I live in the space of I live in the space of having dollar targets. I'll say this is the financial goal that I have. It's the big goal. So how do I make these things that I'm ideating or that I'm dreaming, along with the things that exist in the business revenue model that I already have? How do I make that make sense? So I start literally. I have the vision or the dream. I put a number assigned to it. I might not know how to get to that number just yet, but I'll put a number against it. And I'll start doing that for everything in each one of those quadrants. Those quadrants represent quarters: quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. And I do that intentionally all the time. I add to it, I take away, I shift, whatever. And I make sure that that makes sense to some degree. Once I'm there, and I start to really look at it. And the reason why I start so early is because I come back to it to make sure it still makes sense, it's still relevant, it wasn't an emotional, deposit. Then I start building. And when I start building it, then that's where I'm telling myself stories about what this is going to be, or I'm talking about how this is going to impact the world, or I start saying, these are the resources I need for this. These are the people I need for this. This is the money I need. These are the grants I need. These are the loans I need. This is the space I need. I literally start ideating on it and I start calling out my needs, my resources. I focus in 3 core areas: people, process, and profitability. I dream that way too. Once the dream is out there, I look at what people do I need, what resources do I need, what processes do I need, and what is that going to generate in revenue. That's the business side. And I literally do that. I incubate on it. Nothing, absolutely nothing comes out to the public. And the first line of public is my team until I have sat on it long enough to be complete around the thought. So I'll know when they're on or off the rails. Or if someone says, well, why don't we do this? I'll be like, okay, no, that doesn't make sense for where this is supposed to go. So I get very clear about my vision. And then once I'm clear about it, if it makes sense, I'll invite the team into it. Sometimes it's too fragile for multiple ideators to sit with it because it doesn't have enough root yet. And that, so I won't put it out there. I might start working on it behind the scenes, and they might hear me talk about, hey, what's this such and such I hear you talking about? But I'll go, oh, I'm working on something in the background. So that's the business side. That is up on large, huge post-it notes, taking like those huge, easel pads. And then on the personal side, I do it a little differently. I journal every day, just about every night I journal. I also take copious notes in my Remarkable too, my little
Jealous.
digital notebook, of which you can download PDFs. This is my ebook here, in case I wanted to make some notes or speak from it. But oh, Alena, you never know. So, um, so you ideate. So from a personal standpoint, it's actually harder for me to ideate personally than it is for business. That has everything to do with my past, everything. And I don't deny it. It's hard for me to dream bigger than what I see because I feel like sometimes I go as far as my hands can do or my mind can think, and it's bigger than that. So I have mirrors for that because that takes a little bit more work. And I have to see it and I have to go back to it. And what is powerful about a mirror or even a glass whiteboard, which I have, is that I can see myself in the vision. So I have, from a personal financial standpoint, I have a financial ladder that I work through. Um, and I've actually done a video it's on Instagram and I talk about it. I didn't show the ladder, it's very personal, but it does speak to the things. And it's really about the things that different levels of financial growth provide you with. So the first one is going to be that stability, safety. The next thing is going to be, I don't know, maybe it's road travel or being able to show my kids, new cities and new states and new countries. At the very top, though, of that list, there's probably 7 rungs on the ladder. So at each increment, when I've achieved financially this level of success, and it affords me an opportunity to do these things, I check it off. And I start checking these things off. And I go, okay, this is now a part of my lifestyle. My lifestyle now includes these things. And so I'm working to get to this top rung. The very top rung, and I'm happy to share this, I'm walking into now, which is building my nonprofit out more so for the community than just inwardly for the local area. So building it out on a national level. And why is that important? Because I choose and I have a desire to do very good community work and to build community systems that help avoid the circumstances that I experienced, which was being a youth that could fall in the cracks. And creating a space for the ecosystem, which is the business world that I occupy, my friends, my family, community, for us to all bring the arts and technology and all the STEAM components and STEM components in to build this beautiful space. And so that is something I am like particularly passionate about, but I'm probably more quiet about that because that's my yeah, that's the big stuff, girl. So
I think that one of the things that you said, and that's just great self-awareness, is that it's harder for you to focus on personal than business.
Yeah.
And that's probably true for many of us. So having that awareness, but then being intentional around the change or the pivot in the process a little bit to accommodate for in terms of seeing yourself in the plan. Oh, that's so smart. And I know that as people are listening to you, they're probably like, oh, no wonder she's successful because her brain just moves at a different pace. But I think that strategists like yourself, consultants like yourself, that is just such a huge strength is that you think about all of the moving pieces, right?
Mhm.
So when I'm in sessions, I'm often like referencing, especially for Houston clients, like you need to get with Kyra because they, will be right here with the product or right here with the service, and they don't see all of the other moving pieces of like the funding and the process and the people and this and that. So I think that that's just such a gift. And I want to talk about obviously Smart CEO and CEO Performance Manager because I think that for people who have now just gotten a glimpse of you, they're like, okay, how do I work with this girl? Before we wrap up by kind of getting into that, because I know people always want to know like next steps, how can I keep it going? I want to also just highlight collaboration, right? That was my other pin. So the other side of you, outside of just being this great strategist and business owner, is that you have a ton of businesses. Like I feel like you have told me about like 5 or 6 different projects that you're on, but you have a gift and a knack for also collaborating with people to bring these visions to life. So can you kind of share like kind of why you find collaboration to be so powerful and how others can kind of think through partnerships as they kind of build out multiple streams of income for themselves?
Yeah, it's powerful because we can't do this alone. I'll just start with something real basic, like who's your best friend? Why are they your best friend? What are the values of that person in your life as a best friend? What do they bring? How do they deposit, at a level of excellence in your life? And if that's the case, that's probably the why, right? And that's really where it starts, like understanding that you can't do any of this all by yourself. I cannot. I capped out in my business at $250,000. I couldn't make any more money than that. That's all I can do by myself.
Mm,
And knowing that because I'm physically fatigued. So how do we build? And I'll just tell you, I'm a praying woman, and so I remember going for a walk in my new space, in my new neighborhood, my new single self. And I was like, you know what, Lord, I need an army of consultants. This is what I said, at or better my skill set, because I don't have capacity, or I choose not to anymore be the person always providing the direction. I
mm,
know there are people that are at or better my skill set that can walk with me, that can grow with me. So I just had an intentional prayer around that. And I knew that was going to be the key for growth and the key for survival, because my business took a dip in that process. Like it was rough. And collaboration is really what provided me with the tools to float, because I started working with my colleagues that I would hang out with at networking events and realized they needed something I had and I needed something they had. And so we started collaborating on jobs. And
mm,
that was really the all ships rise approach. And I knew that was a need. And when, God set it up and I was able to open my mouth and ask, the person was asking me for the same thing at the same time. And I was so scared to ask because I thought to myself, my personality is so big. They're not going to want me in their space. I got a takeover spirit, like they're going to be like, her, it's just too much, And
mhm.
I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but these are the stories you tell yourself.
Right.
And I have been making 6 figures with that person for the last couple of years because we work so well together. We're a yin and a yang, and it's so beautiful. Collaboration is about connect. It's that gut, Alena. It's
Mhm.
following your gut. You cannot enter into collaboration. These are not partners in my business. These are collaborative partners. These are on paper, legit legal business collaborations. We have contracts and we have legal work and we have non-competes and all these things in place that secures our collaboration. But it's about following your gut. Well, as soon as I cast that prayer out, it was like those women, it was women too that started showing up. I guess God was like, she don't need no men in that space. It's too early, it's too soon. But it really did. It started to show up, and it's been amazing. So with that, I'll just say, in my business, we collaborate. There are probably about 30 or 35 consultants in a variety of different skill sets that we collaborate with, some more than others. But some we've been building something for them, and so it's exciting that that's coming on board now. But I will say this. Let me go back to this. I almost forgot. Every morning, every single morning, 6:30 a.m., Deuteronomy 8 and 18. For it is the Lord thy God that gives you the power to create wealth and to do the good work in the land. And for me, my good work, I've always wanted to be the one to create wealth for others, create opportunities for others. That's been my prayer. I want to be a creator of opportunities. And how do I do that for other people? Like, this makes me emotional. I'm very committed to seeing other people win and me winning. I'm gonna win too. We all win. We're gonna all eat. But if I hear your dream and I know what you do in the world that makes the world better, I want to be behind that just as much, because your dream is that important. And remember, we all most of us will try to pull from our past to feed our future. And so this is feeding my future, the things that I wish that I had as a child that I now have as an adult, which is someone, not only me, now it's the people around me. We feed each other, we support each other, we see each other. And seeing each other, we're able to say, Alena, this will be great for you. You know what? Let's tighten up this skill set. Let's do this, this, and this will be a great opportunity for you. Or I'm gonna create this for you. This might stretch you, but this is something you can do. I can't do it, but there's room over here. And I think that becomes your way of life, just as me moving up this ladder, telling myself financially, this is your new way of life, girlfriend. You doing this thing, keep going, keep going. So now your expectation, your earnings level, your potential is on this rung. I'm not down here anymore. So my problems are up here. People like, I don't have problems down here. My problems are up here. I'm good with that, because that means my earning is up there, my expectations and my receiving is up there, my output is up there. And so that's really the power of collaboration. I got to collaborate on that level. And so we've, a program that started my business, literally started my business, which is the CEO Performance Manager. There was such a huge gap in there, and I was spending a lot of time trying to solve and put out fires. And I had about 2 or 3 client failures that hurt me to my core. And I realized that I missed an opportunity to create a solution inside the program. And it was really when the clients started to get in their own head, in their own way, and I didn't have enough time or enough tactics in my toolbox to help them maneuver. And so it became this issue or this tug of war around, you're giving me strategy, but I'm missing something. And the thing they were missing was their belief in themselves and their ability to adapt and adopt the behaviors that I was so intentionally putting before them as opportunities to grow their business. You're going to know your business. And if I don't believe I can know my business, if I don't believe I can grow, if I don't believe I can make $1 million, hell, I'm not going to make $1 million and I'm not going to grow. So we're going to be in conflict. And that conflict looks like me finding the thing that I can find that raises the greatest hair to say, this is a flag and this is a challenge. And oh, Kyra, by the way, it's on you. And I'll turn it right back around on the client. Let's talk about why this is a circumstance. I'll own what I need to own. If our process had a hole in it, I'll own it. But when I know this is an emotional intelligence circumstance, I can support you to the end of my understanding. But after that, there's more that you need. I might not be able to do that. And one of the gaps was this, and that's something that you do consistently well. And we needed to focus on that. And in focusing on that, Alena, inside the CEO Performance Manager, we took that program, I put it inside of my growth plan for Goldman Sachs when I went through Goldman Sachs Small Business 10,000 program, 10,000 small business program. And I processed that thing. I'm so intentional about it. Like, I processed it. You would have thought I was in another master's program. I was like, oh, this thing is going to come out right.
And tell them what they mean when you say you process this thing.
I put it through. So the program is like, 11 weeks. And they take you through this element of creating a growth element in your business in Goldman Sachs. That's what happens when you get in there. So you're a successful business, but you can be more successful. So they ask you to think about the one thing that you could do to grow your business. Well, because where was it? On my vision, it had already gone through ideation. I knew it was a thing. I'd already addressed it as a problem. And here we go. Oh my goodness. I meet Alena. All these answers. Now let me do the work to build.
Look, let me come down in a flying angel. That's how you're making me feel right now. Like, oh shoot, I came in like the savior. No, I'm just kidding.
Seriously, you plug right in, but it made a lot of sense for a lot of things, Alena. So in that program, literally, I was able to say, okay, how do we max this out? Well, then I realized, well, I can't do this by myself anymore. Or, and by the way, my client base has changed so much. How do we get other people involved in doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first opportunity for me to create jobs. I created a cost model that said, okay, if I can create jobs, I can bring this many people through the program and clients through the program at this rate, then we can generate this much revenue in our business. What does that feed? Remember, I got vision on the mind. So it's feeding other initiatives. But it also does one big, big thing. It expands and exposes the opportunity to provide a solution in a program, which is the reminder remedy piece. And so now Alena can bring her brilliance direct to the program, support these business owners where they need it. We increased our price. We baked in budget for Alena's services because we're paying full for the services. And now the clients will be the better. And so we took it all the way through. And then in the Goldman Sachs program, they had the nerve to say I was still playing small. I'm looking like, do you see this number? This is going to be nice. They were like, why
Mm-hmm.
can't you do it sooner? Why does it take this long? Okay, well, we're gonna go through the journey of hiring somebody to do some copywriting and get rid of these other blind spots that we have. Let's invest. So you got to invest on the front end if you really
Mm-hmm.
want to make this work. So now I've got the burden, if you could look at it like that, of like this has to work because Alena's now involved and she's committed to it. We're investing. So now all this money I've invested, all of these opportunities we've created, this has to work. So how do we make it work? And so we start pulling in and pulling in and pulling in and building and getting rid of all the bugs that were in a program that was designed for me to run from my head for years. And now it is fully I think we out here now. We got a little bit left to do to put the bows on it, but we're rolling. Like our first client rolls through starting in a couple of days. And so in this version of the program. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm excited about that because now I don't worry about whether they're going to be cared for. But Alena, the CEO performance manager, is for people that are dreaming, like their heart is on their sleeves, their emotions, they're going through whatever they're going through, they're thinking and hitting all those blind spots that everybody listening has hit on some level. When you get into a place where you realize this thing could work. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, I could be successful. Oh my goodness, I could do
And
more.
what are the 11 modules that they go through?
Oh, look at you. One moment, please.
Listen, because I mean, so this is y'all, this is also like Kyra is giving us the full scope of like this is, and I'm gonna get back to something that you said around just like the two polarities around just like the business part and then the personal development and the mindset. But I think that, you know, I always have to meet people, and by people, y'all, I'm not trying to put y'all all in one boat, but most of the people that come are always like, hey, I need business coaching, right? I need marketing coaching. I need branding coaching. And then we get in here and we do all of this work on the business, and then you can't execute on it because you don't believe that you are at the level of the business. Like you feel like the business is here and you don't even meet it here, right? But for the sake of people getting excited about all of the Kyra strategy that they get in this program, just lay it on us thick, please. What's in the
I
program?
will. I will. Okay, y'all ready for this? So this is what happens. You're gonna walk through. I'm gonna just rattle it off. You're going through. It's a 6 month program. It is designed for you to collaborate with your business consultant. You will have reminder remedy touch points within the program and master classes within the program. So it is robust. It's bigger than it has ever been. And I think my other clients, they're gonna be like, listen, can I get some?
Lifetime membership.
Yeah, we got a community for you. That's the other thing we did. We built a community for the smart CEOs. So now, we've got about 1,300. Hope we're on our way to 3,000 real people in a community on Facebook that and I say I meant that real people that we communicate with that have been incubated under the smart CEO. And what does that mean? They know my voice. They know what I mean. They're leveling up. If they can't do business with us right now because they're like, I don't know if I can afford it, they can at least get access to training and development. And I drop in there and do some free stuff, drop some videos in there just to keep things moving for you because
Yeah.
I understand the value of it. Here we go. So what do you get in the CEO performance manager? You get business vision casting, developing the core of your business, which is what is your business? We're getting into operations. So let me just say this too. Let me slow down. It's segmented in three parts: people, process, profitability. So it's set up that at every major milestone, you shift to the next. So we're building upon the business development format that we know works, but we're starting first with you. Leaders, we are starting first with you. So the first people in this piece is you. You are the person we're focused on first. So we're going into the vision casting portion. Then we're going to develop the business core. Yeah, that's the hard work. We're going to do all the hard work up front. Just trust me on this. And then resource assessment and asset mapping. What do you need? Who do you need? Remember, people, process, profitability. Then we're going to go into resource assessment and implementation. So not only are we going to identify, but we're also going to implement. When you are done with this program, the business, the service line, the product, whatever we're upgrading or whatever we're developing will be done. This is not a, oh, let me motivate you through the program and hopefully you'll get there. This is a let's go step by step to build your business. What you need to have done before you get in the program is you need to be established as a legal business. You need to have a bank account and consider every meeting that you have with your consultant, you're meeting biweekly over the course of 6 months, to be your business development meeting. I'm corporate. I'm coming straight at it from a corporate perspective. You need to know this is your operations meeting. This is when you bring the stuff to the table. We're going to talk numbers. We're going to talk marketing. We're going to talk all of that. This is that meeting every 2 weeks. So we create formality in your business that you can roll right with into building your team and all that good stuff. Anyway, all right, here we go. So you got vision casting, developing the core of your business, resource assessment and asset mapping, a resource implementation, professional development and leadership exploration. Ooh, yeah, we're going to get you together all the way because you need to be the CEO leading this business, not the business owner that's the highest paid, worker on the team. Design and implementation of your business processes, design and implementation of your customer processes, marketing strategy design, marketing plan implementation, strategic plan, and 18-month timeline design. Yes, 18 months. I talked to you about my process for strategizing, and I start in July for the next year to come intentionally. Product and program launch. So we'll put the plan together for how we're going to launch or produce the product launch. So we want to make sure that when you're done, there's an event that happens in your business, and then we actually do the release. And so you will have an event at the end of your 6 months that says, I've done this. That's just not graduation. This is a revenue generating event. So our goal is to make sure that throughout this process, you're making money. You know the process and the system for making money because you know your business. That's why it's collaborative. That's why this works, because you're going to know your business.
And I
Not
think it's worth mentioning that when Kyra talks about the consultant piece, you are getting one-on-one attention, which I think is unfortunately a scarcity in the market right now when it comes to business coaching. Fair enough, because when it comes to business work-life balance, most coaches need a life too, right? So we focus on group coaching and courses. This program is one-on-one because, again, Kyra has collaborated with 35 plus vetted consultants. So instead of, people only having capacity to just do group coaching, it's no, every business gets one-on-one attention. I don't know that I've seen a program that gives that level of attention at this price point, and I feel like we get into sales mode because that's just what we do. But I think it's really, to me, like, it's so undervalued, or it's so, that value in itself is just something you can't get anymore, where you're basically getting business coaching in a box that's still one-on-one, that also then gives you life coaching, right? Because most times you have to choose.
yeah,
And of
yeah,
course, I'm always telling people, listen, hire you a life coach before you hire you a business coach, or you're going to waste your money. Because
yeah,
again, it starts here. You can't really have one without the other. So then to be able to bring them and merge them together is genius. So kudos to you on even, seeing that was like the biggest gap for
yeah,
them, right? Because even as I hear you talk about your businesses, it is apparent that there has been a certain level of personal development that has happened over these
Yeah.
several years. And I think that, that's something that we always say is like your income or your wealth will never surpass like your development, right? And I think that it also changes in different seasons, right? So, like for me, I may have had uber success in a certain season, but when you decide to do something new, you become a student again, right?
Yes.
So while
Yes.
you bring your experience and you bring your knowledge so that you can charge certain rates, you also have to still put in the work to develop this new season, right? And so I know that for me personally, a big part of my own development is similar to what you mentioned before, which is being very intentional around the people that I'm around, right?
Yeah.
So, like, even if it's not collaborative in the sense of we own a business together, it's collaborative in terms of our think tank, these incubators, these classes, the mood, the habits, right? Like, just being around people that work out regularly, like Ebony and Kyra, y'all, they work out like every day. Okay. So you can't be around people that are, building businesses and have 3+ kids and they work out. And then you're like, oh, well, I can't, it becomes like this osmosis process. And that's a very intentional thing for me. It's like, let me get in the room, let me shake hands, let me get the introductions, and then let me embrace the habits of high performers,
Oh, that's
right?
good.
I think that that is something that is kind of like the icing on the cake with the program, is that you get that one-on-one, but then you also get that community that
Yeah.
then allows you to be in good company, whether that's in company with the facilitators from the masterminds or in company with the people that are in the program as well. So I think that this is just going to be a game changer because it's going to give me the opportunity to do what I do best. But I think that when you just say you like to serve, you like to help other people make money, this is it. Like
Yeah.
that, you're doing all of that through this program. I think it's super dope that what you got going on.
Yeah, I think one of the things, and thank you, Alena, for that. And we'll talk about how you are going to make significant impact in the program too. One of the things around the price point is I wanted to make sure, because I've been there where you heard your answer or a program you wanted to get into, and you were like, that price tag is out of reach. And
Mm-hmm.
this is for newer businesses. So
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, they're not, the first 3 years you might be hitting $70,000. So I need you to be able to afford the program. And if you don't know
Mm-hmm.
how, I need you to be agile enough that you have enough resources to one, invest. You're ready
Mm-hmm.
mentally, emotionally, and that when we get into these sessions, you're not circling around the money tree trying to figure out, am I going to make my next payment? I need
Mm-hmm.
you clear. And I tell people that I will tell you, don't take the program if you're worried about money, because it's in the way. And I can't fight your money battle. I keep convincing you that I'm going to show you how to create this revenue. But if I'm fighting you on that, you're not going to create any money. And so it's not my job to do, it's yours. And we're going to do it together. But that was the thing that I found very early on. I was contending with mindset, Alena. So it's priced where it is because I want people to hear an answer and I want them to be brave enough to go after it because it's within reach. And then from there, they can graduate. You can graduate to a VIP day. You can drop quite a bit to have some one-on-one time with me. Um, in those environments. But I think more than anything, I'd love to see you build and know it and have that level of passion around what you're doing, and really be able
Mm-hmm.
to the language. Real quick, and then we're going to talk about what you do. I had a call from a very successful accountant today, and she called my phone, and I called her back, and she said, "Kyra, I was doing a sales call today, and she said, and I feel like my sales, my marketing, my messaging is stale."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Okay." And I mean, she had urgency in her voice, like this can't be. And so the first thing she said was, "Who can you recommend? Who can you refer me to?" I said, "Well, I'd hate to sound like a jack of all trades, but I can support you with managing your messaging and up leveling it." Okay. And she
Mhm.
said, okay. And I said, if I can't do that, then let's talk about what you really need, which may be a marketing overhaul because the overall message is stale. And then I'll refer you out to someone that I believe can help you on that level.
Mhm.
She said, okay, well, we're gonna start with you because I know you. I said,
Right.
good. And but she was so like on like, oh my God, my messaging is broken. This
Mm.
woman has been doing, she don't need new messaging. I'm gonna be honest. What she needs is a refreshed view of her business. She needs to get out
Mm.
and we're gonna work on that. I will tell you, for her, she's an existing client. So it was just like, just drop in. Like, let's set up some time. And
Right.
so, but when you think about what you do, Alena, and the positive psychology of it all, and you're able to help people see themselves differently, man, that's adding such a power tool to this program. I don't know, your listeners, your viewers, they know you, but I wonder if they know that you're that brilliant around that space, and that, even earlier today, how enlightened I've been. And I just finished teaching the full body yes to someone else, but do they understand what you really do and how you change the lives of people and increase their productivity?
Um, I think that they don't know, right? It's like but you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that we're now in season 4 of the podcast, where we're continuing with bringing some of the free content. But honestly, so much of what I do is tailored for the individual, that it could never be fully encompassed in just a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always like, listen, y'all, like let's just get in a call together, because I've watched people who maybe could not invest in coaching right away take advantage of free coaching sessions with me, like their first discovery call, and within just that 30 minutes immediately see themselves for who they are and go and just like transform their business. Like, I'm thinking of one particular influencer who was just beating herself up within 5 minutes of our conversation, tears, which is common on my discovery calls because I just go there quick, right? And it was like something about that call. I watched this girl blow up like in months. And I low key want to be like, don't forget, I was the one, because she's not necessarily a client, but it's just such a powerful experience. And so, I hope to continue to, I mean, we're 1 year in,
Right.
right? So it's like we've only just slightly scratched the surface of like lives that can be changed. But it is what keeps me up at night. It's like, oh my God, this is such a powerful thing, for anyone.
Yes.
And it's so tailored to what you are experiencing in every season. That it is my goal to just expose more people faster.
Mhm. That's good. Well, I know for a fact that we have set this program up to do that. And what we'll talk about, the power of collaborating across our brands. Now we can hyper expose, your audience to what we do and my audience to what you do, and create this beautiful synergy. And the level of trust that we have with each other around doing that tells them another story around, creating safe spaces to collaborate, and how important it is to do
Mhm.
that. And we impact each other's revenue, we impact each other's families. Um, it's bigger than any transaction.
Mhm.
At some point you spend this kind of time together, you're household names. Like, we're meeting kids and kissing babies, we're on Christmas lists because we've invested that amount of real time and intention around what we're doing. And I'll say this, Alena, I feel like I get up every morning and I have this 6 foot mirror. This has like my personal, like the written goals there. And I look in it every day. Scarf hanging to the side, whatever, right? You get up, you pop up, you're like, okay, what is this? And I look at myself and I say to myself, Kyra, every day you have the gift of doing what you love every day.
Mhm.
And that above all is just like an incredible grace that God has given. So how dare I not walk fully in this? Because there are people that wish they could do what they loved every day, or what brings them joy every day. And I get to do that every single day. Every single
Powerful.
every single day.
I
So
love it.
collaborating is like icing. I don't even like cake like that, but it's like cheesecake topping. I don't know. It's peach cobbler.
Well, I mean, I can't say it enough. Like it's just been 2021 is my Kyra year. I'll call it that.
Oh,
It has just been, I mean, I have met so many people, and I coach women primarily, but even through some of our other partnerships with the Fort Bend
yeah.
Initiative, I
How
have
many
started to,
partnerships do we have? How many?
girl, a million. Like, Alena, I got a new contract for you. I'm like, shit, I don't need to market myself. But no, through one of our collaborations, I've been coaching men. Which is something that for whatever reason I think was a mental block, because I always felt like I don't
Oh,
understand that species. Like, what am I going to coach them on? And so I chuckle with Prince because I'm like, listen, I might need to change my whole. I just might need to stick with high achieving people, because the men that I have had the opportunity to coach through the Kyra company, it's just that sports nature. They come back like, "What's up, Coach Lena?" I'm like, "What's up? What we got going on?" And so it has stretched me in terms
yeah.
of even the relationships that I have built with the clientele, but even how I think about how to impact people, beyond just like, and that's probably been my biggest learning lesson of my first year. Is like, just just because I think my business is going to be successful by being marketed a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that's what the market wants, right? So you
Yeah.
have to always give yourself permission to test and see, what does the market need, what do they want, because what I have in my head may not necessarily hit, but I feel like it over the year I have really understood like what gets people excited about coaching, what language to use, and really what audience is really in the space for being ready for it. And so that's another part of everything that we do when it comes to being business owners. It's like, you got to give yourself permission to be okay with like, this ain't working,
Yeah.
that's
Leave
why
it alone.
I love being able to like edit my web. I will change my website every week if I need to like capture something that I've learned from a client, because it's so important to just like pivot, in a way that makes sense. So anyways, girl, we've been on this line for about 90 minutes. So we're gonna definitely be having a part one and part two, because
Yeah.
people need to get this working out. But I've always said that I wanted you to be a regular guest on the podcast, especially when it comes to people, process, and profit, of course. So this is the first time, but it won't be the last time. But we are just so glad that we got to get inside of your world. Just so proud of you representing just such a dynamic group of like what can be on the other side of like
Yeah.
fear and choices. And so thank you for hopping on with us today.
Man, thank you for creating the space and allowing me to just be me. Just
Mhm.
be me. We have a lot to talk about. We didn't talk about the books. We didn't talk about the journaling process. We got some nuggets, y'all, for that I'm grateful to share. But Alena let me just be me today. She invited me to the conversation, and so I just got to be all of me. And I think that's a gift in and of itself. So I just want to say thank you. You just beautiful soul, and you guys, through all of this, we've only like I went to Atlanta probably after almost the first year. Um,
Mhm.
we hadn't met each other and we had a beautiful dinner and was just like, I love you so much.
First time meeting you in real life.
Yes.
I've only seen you twice in real life, which is so crazy.
Yes, but we tried to wear her out when she came back to Houston. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the ultimate team building weekend. We got as much as we could get in,
Yes.
but more of that to come. So I'm excited. Welcome to the journey that Alena and Kyra are on, you guys. So
Yes.
uh,
Just the beginning. Wonderful. Okay. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. I will put all of the links, how you can find me, Kyra, how you can learn more about the Smart CEO community and the CEO Performance Manager. And Kyra, go ahead and book yourself, because we are ready to learn about all the other things on today's agenda that we did not get to. So
Yes.
talk soon, guys.